Westmoreland 17-year-old charged for stabbing shooting man at his home. A 17-year-old Westmoreland boy has been charged in connection with the stabbing and shooting of a man at his home in Chantilly Gardens, Savannah, Lamar. He was charged on Monday with wounding with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a firearm to commit a felony. His court date is being finalized. The police say he joins 20-year-old Deshaun Bell, who is also of a Chantilly Gardens community, who was previously charged. They report that about 10 p.m. on Monday, January 22nd, a man was at home when he was approached by the teenager and Bell. According to the police, they inflicted several stab wounds to the man's head, and when he made an attempt to escape his attackers, he was shot in the arm. The man was assisted to hospital where he was treated. The teen was later apprehended at his home. The charges were laid against him on Monday, February 5th, after he was pointed out on an identification parade. 17-year-old boy shot in Kingston. A 17-year-old boy was shot dead in St. Andrew South Police Division on Tuesday. He is Nebinko Douglas, otherwise called Junior, of Dillpath Crescent in Kingston 11. Investigators say about 7 a.m., the teen was standing along the roadway in his community when he was attacked and shot by a suspect who goes by the alias Killer or Bounty. The boy ran into his yard and collapsed. He was later pronounced dead at hospital. Man gets 3 months in prison for escaping police custody. A man who escaped police custody to attend his mother's funeral was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment when he appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday. He is 50-year-old Horace Clark of McVickers Lane, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. On Tuesday, attorney Dennis Sidson submitted to the court the non-custodial sentence would be appropriate for Clark as his client attended his mother's funeral and returned to the police. Parish Court Judge Daniel Nelson Gill told the defense that she would be going against the sentencing guidelines if Clark was not incarcerated. The judge advanced that the maximum is 2 years imprisonment, but given his age and the lawyer's submission, Clark would benefit from a reduction. Clark was arrested on January 6 on a warrant for an expired motor vehicle certificate of fitness. While at the police station, he declared that his mother had died and he needed to attend her funeral. He later asked to use the bathroom and ran out of the station compound. Chef wanted in connection with 2021 murder captured. A 28-year-old man from St. Elizabeth, who was wanted in connection with a murder that took place in 2021, was arrested and charged after he was apprehended during an operation on Thursday, February 1. He is Krishna Barrett, a chef of Holland Village. The deceased was identified as 34-year-old Isaiah Dixon, a former of the same community. Reports were that on Saturday, July 17, 2021, Barrett allegedly used a knife to stab Dixon several times in the upper body. The police were summoned, however, Barrett managed to flee the scene. He eluded the police for over 2 years and was subsequently held in an operation. Barrett was additionally charged with being in possession of a prohibited weapon. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Deputy Superintendent Coleridge Minto is commending the team of detectives for the work being done. He also reassured the public that lawmen are continuing to work assiduously to restore peace and order in the division. Minto also appealed to residents to share information that they have on any crime committed in the parish. The police are also reminding the public that it is an offense to harbor a criminal, and anyone found in breach will receive the full extent of the law. NWC says reports of unbearable odor coming from sewage plant in Greater Portmore is due to cold front and accompanying rain. The National Water Commission NWC says it has taken note of reports about unbearable odor coming from one of its sewage plants in Greater Portmore, St. Catherine. This following a protest by residents in the community. The placard-bearing protesters, which included teachers of the Greater Portmore High School, gathered at the institution's gate chanting and calling for the NWC to address the issue. Speaking with reporters, Public Relations Officer Delano Williams said the odor is due to the recent cold front and accompanying rainfall. He said the treatment of the sewage relies heavily on sunshine, which has been impacted by the weather condition. He said the NWC will be meeting with administrators of the affected school and also do further checks into the issue. He added that the work has begun to rehabilitate the facility.
Our team at the NWC has noted the recent reports originating from Greater Portmore and we wish to highlight that we have done extensive checks over the last few days on our systems. We can confirm that there are no mechanical issues that have occurred recently. Additionally, we have not detected any network issues that could be pinpointed as a cause to the rise in the odor. What seems to be a realistic factor is the recent cold front and the accompanying rainfall, which may have agitated the water and given off odor at different times over the past few days. The treatment of the sewage is done in open air stabilizing ponds, open ponds that rely heavily on sunshine and oxygen to properly break down wastewater components that originate from homes and businesses across the Portmore space. Now, if there is a lack of sunshine, and if also there is any kind of foreign material stifling the oxygen getting to the water, so if there's a lot of plastic creeping into the system, any other kind of chemical that causes a mask or so over the surface of the water, then this hampers the breakdown process and can cause changes in the wastewater quality and give off the odors. We have committed to do checks along our network and including the quality of the water to see if we might be able to pinpoint what the originating points are, if not simply the rainfall alone. For the long term, the procurement process has started to rehabilitate this western side of the ponds. Wish to highlight that the eastern side was completed in September 2022. The process now to rehabilitate the western side is at the design phase, just to finalize a number of components, and will include the introduction of floating aerators and also expanding the surface area, which we expect both will improve the breakdown time and minimize some occurrences of odor and algae buildup.
I saw Mommy stand up and was screaming, child's statement admitted into evidence into JDF Lieutenant's murder case. Lieutenant Kyoto Burnett, the Jamaica Defense Force physiotherapist who was said to be suffering from a severe mental condition in the months leading up to when he stabbed his attorney-at-law wife, Nadrika, to death on December 2018, on Tuesday bowed his head and closed his eyes, as a statement of his then 8-year-old daughter detailed the last time she heard her mother's voice was read out on the day 2 of the trial. My mother and father would quarrel a lot. I counted the times that they quarreled, and it was 12 times. One time when Daddy and Mommy were quarreling, I saw Mommy crying. When I saw Mommy crying, I felt like crying too, the primary school student said in her evidence. This was among several agreed statements placed into the recording of the court in the matter, being presided over by Justice Dale Palmer in the Home Circuit Court Division in the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston. He said in the penultimate quarrel on Wednesday, December 12, 2018, the couple was in their bedroom at their West Kirkland Heights St. Andrew apartment. I heard Mama was shouting at Daddy, then I heard Daddy talking, but I did not hear Mommy responding. Early Thursday morning, I went to look for Mommy and Daddy. I saw their bed door closed and I saw Mommy 2 legs first. Then I saw Mommy lying on the bed. I saw something red on the bed. The red thing that I saw on the bed looks like blood, she said in her statement. I saw Mommy stand up and was screaming, and then I saw Mommy fall down on the floor and I saw Daddy lift up Mommy and put her on the bed. When I saw Daddy lift up Mommy and put her on the bed, he walked to the bed door and closed it. When Daddy locked himself in the room, I went back into my room. I hugged my little sister and went to bed, but I could not sleep, she further said. In this statement, which was read as a recording of the court by a registrar, she told the court that at the dawn, when their landlord knocked on their front door, they discovered that the door of their parents' room was still locked. The child said she was then taken to an aunt's home along with her baby sister and then taken into counseling. She said she then learned that her father was in the hospital and her mother was dead. I miss my mommy very much. When I saw her lying on the bed and I saw blood, I thought she was having her period. I never thought that she was dead. I love my mother, she said, describing her mother as loving and playful and her father as loving and kind. On Tuesday, Burnett, clad in a peach shirt and black dress pants, listened calmly to his daughter's statement at their bowing of his head and closing his eyes momentarily. Also on Tuesday, a police officer, who was one of the 2 to respond to the distress call of the Burnett's landlord, said he visited the couple's address upon being told by her that she feared something had happened to her tenants. It was the norm for her to see them, and she knocked on the door and didn't hear them, the cop said in the statement. He said upon calling the couple's names and receiving no response, he pried open the door to their bedroom and saw the body of the 34-year-old attorney lying on the bed with a red substance pooling in the region of her chest. He said Burnett was sitting in a corner of the room, staring at the body of the woman on the bed. The cop said after inquiring of Burnett if he was armed, he told him to stand up and walk towards him. He said the army man, when asked what had happened, replied, "I killed her. The voices told me to do it." He said when he cautioned Burnett, he again repeated the words. A post-mortem report, which formed part of the evidence, said the attorney had signs of recent injuries to her neck, back and torso, and also had blood in her mouth. Of the 15 stab wounds in her body, 4 were defensive wounds, mainly to the hands. Several of the wounds, according to the examiner, hampered and had a fishtail appearance of their end. 3 witnesses from the Jamaica Defense Force, where Burnett was employed at the time of the murder, said before the killing, the army man had begun to exhibit signs of extreme withdrawal. A former supervisor of Burnett said he would lock himself into his office for long periods and would only come out when he had assessments to perform. The woman, an army major, said after an approximately 2 weeks absence, he was relieved of his substantive duty. She said she was told by the then force medical officer that he would be undergoing treatment and would not be able to carry out his duties. She said when he returned, he was not allowed to see patients but was given administrative duties. She said in early December 2018, when a sessional physiotherapist was hired, Burnett became unhappy that he was being replaced. She said the lieutenant, during a meeting with her, told her of the history of depression, which he said was being treated several ways, including with a faith-based method. He appeared to be frustrated with the fact that the treatment wasn't working. He stated that he was concerned about his job security, and he said his family had said to him that he should not say anything to me about his condition. She told the court, adding that Burnett had been ordered to see a clinical psychologist at the Army's Welfare Center and report back to her. She said a day after Burnett told her he had met with the doctor and the issue was being resolved, she received the report that he had killed his wife. The medical doctor, who said she visited the home right after the incident, described the army man as she saw him then. His eyes looked very wild. He was staring blankly, and on occasion, I would stand right in front of him, beckoning, and he would not acknowledge my presence, and he would be looking around as if responding to some stimuli that wasn't there. After I repeatedly tried to get his attention, he looked at me and I asked him what happened, and all he said was, "The voice, ma'am, the voices, ma'am." She said it was immediately recommended that the lieutenant be taken to Bellevue Hospital for emergency psychiatric management. The army man, who is out on bail, has to reside at a prescribed location as part of the condition of his bail bond. The matter resumes when his mother is expected to take the stand. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.